The Endeavour drifted quietly through the outskirts of the Ganymede Expanse, a remote and little-explored region of deep space. Its crew was a small team of scientists and explorers from the United Earth Coalition, tasked with cataloging strange phenomena and ancient artifacts. What they found that day would change everything humanity thought it knew about its place in the universe. It began with a soft, almost melodic signal detected by the Endeavour's sensors, a faint hum that seemed to pulse with an impossible rhythm. Lieutenant Mira Chen, the ship's lead communications officer, was the first to notice the anomaly. "Captain, you need to see this," she called softly. On the main deck, the holographic display lit up with complex wave patterns unlike any natural source or known technology. Captain Arjun Malik leaned forward, intrigued. "Could it be a distress signal?" he asked, though deep down, he suspected it was something far older and more profound. The ship altered course, following the signal deeper into a dense nebula swirling with iridescent colors. As they emerged, an astonishing sight greeted them. A cluster of enormous, silent warships, their hulls scarred by time but still majestic. These vessels were unlike anything recorded in human history. Vast, angular structures that seemed to hover in suspended animation, bathed in the soft glow of distant stars. Dr. Lena Ortega, the expedition's chief archaeologist, stared in awe. "They must be ancient, far older than any civilization we know," she murmured. The ship's scans confirmed her hunch. The metal was composed of an alloy unknown to current science, and the decay pattern suggested an age measured not in centuries or millennia, but in billions of years. As the crew prepared a boarding mission, an eerie silence filled the Endeavour. No distress calls, no energy signatures, only the gentle hum that now seemed almost like a heartbeat. It was as if the ships themselves were alive, patiently waiting to be discovered. Inside the largest vessel, the explorers found vast corridors lined with intricate symbols glowing faintly. The air was perfectly preserved, breathable but cool, carrying the faint scent of ancient metal and something almost floral. In the ship's central chamber, holographic displays flickered to life, showing star maps of galaxies long vanished and star systems unknown to modern astronomers. Dr. Ortega traced her fingers over the glowing glyphs. "This isn't just a warship," she said quietly. "It's a repository, a vault of knowledge from a civilization that existed before recorded time." Lieutenant Chen's voice crackled over the comms. "Captain, you're not going to believe this. There's a core system here that's responding. It's like it's waking up." Captain Malik exchanged looks with his team, a mixture of excitement and reverence. They were standing on the edge of a discovery that could rewrite human history, a secret hidden for eons in the cold depths of space. Humanity's story, it seemed, was far older and richer than anyone had ever imagined. The boarding team moved cautiously through the silent corridors of the ancient warship, their footsteps echoing softly against walls that shimmered faintly with an otherworldly light. The ship, later dubbed the Eternal Voyager by the Endeavour crew, was far more than a relic. It was a vast archive of history, science, and culture from an age that predated the stars themselves. Dr. Lena Ortega led the exploration, her eyes wide with fascination, as she examined the glowing inscriptions etched along the walls. The symbols were unlike any human language, flowing lines and shapes that pulsed gently, almost as if they were alive. With every step, the team uncovered more chambers filled with artifacts that defied explanation. In one room, massive crystalline structures floated midair, emitting soft pulses of light in patterns that seemed to mirror star constellations. In another, holographic displays projected scenes of distant worlds and sprawling civilizations thriving in harmony with their environments. It was a breathtaking glimpse into a cosmos long forgotten. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Mira Chen worked tirelessly at the ship's communication hub, attempting to decipher the strange language that guarded the ship's secrets. Using advanced algorithms and neural interface technology, she began to translate fragments of the inscriptions. Slowly, patterns emerged, words and concepts that hinted at peace, knowledge, and unity rather than war. "It's like this ship was designed not to destroy, but to preserve," Mira said, her voice filled with wonder. "A sanctuary for wisdom and understanding." The crew was particularly captivated by the ship's star maps. These maps included galaxies no longer visible from Earth, star systems with planets that had vanished over cosmic timescales, and strange anomalies that defied current scientific understanding. One map even depicted a vast network of pathways between stars, routes that suggested ancient travel far beyond what humanity had achieved. As they delved deeper, Dr. Ortega discovered a chamber that housed a massive, intricately carved sphere suspended in midair. The sphere pulsed with a soft blue light, and when touched, it projected a three-dimensional star chart that expanded and shifted like a living thing. "This," she whispered, "is the key to their knowledge, an atlas of the universe as it once was, and perhaps as it could be again." Yet, the more they learned, the more questions arose. Who were the creators of these ships? What had happened to their civilization? And why had these vessels been left drifting, hidden among the stars for billions of years? Then, suddenly, the ship's core systems hummed to life. The gentle pulse intensified, and a voice, soft and melodic, but unmistakably artificial, echoed through the corridors. "Welcome, travelers. You have found the legacy of the first Guardians." The crew froze, breathless. They had awakened something, a silent sentinel of a time long past, ready to share its story. Captain Malik's eyes gleamed with determination. "This is only the beginning." The soft voice echoed through the endless halls of the eternal Voyager, reverberating like a gentle song woven into the very fabric of the ship. The crew paused, letting the words wash over them, each syllable carrying the weight of forgotten eons. The ship's AI, awakened by their presence, introduced itself as Eloria, the custodian of memories from a civilization that had flourished long before humanity's first starships took flight. Dr. Lena Ortega stepped forward, her fingers trembling as she reached out to the shimmering control panel. "Eloria, can you share your memories with us? We want to understand, to learn." Eloria's response was a cascade of images, emotions, and knowledge, flooding the minds of those nearby without overwhelming them. It was like reading a book made of light and feeling. Visions of lush planets filled with vibrant life, civilizations that valued exploration, knowledge, and peace above all else. The ancient race who built these ships were known as the First Guardians. Their mission was not conquest, but protection, guardians of cosmic balance and keepers of universal wisdom. Eloria revealed that the warships were misnamed. Their true purpose was to shield fragile worlds and preserve knowledge against the ravages of time and cosmic upheaval. Lieutenant Mira Chen watched in awe as the memories unfolded. Star systems nurtured back to life by these majestic vessels, histories recorded in intricate holograms, and peaceful exchanges between countless species. The Guardians had developed technology that could heal ecosystems, restore extinct flora and fauna, and create safe havens in the most hostile environments. "This changes everything we thought about ancient history," Mira said softly. "We're not inheriting weapons of war. We're inheriting a legacy of hope." Captain Arjun Malik nodded, eyes fixed on the swirling projections. "A responsibility, too." Among the memories was a story that captured the crew's imagination, a tale of unity between species from distant galaxies who came together to share knowledge and culture through a vast network of connected worlds. The Guardians have facilitated this cosmic fellowship, ensuring that wisdom was shared and preserved. As Eloria's data continued to stream, Dr. Ortega noticed something else, a pattern hidden deep within the archives, a cryptic message encoded in star coordinates and temporal markers. It spoke of a cycle of renewal, a cosmic event that occurred once every billion years, a moment when the universe reset itself to avoid stagnation and decay. The ancient ships, Eloria explained, were designed to endure these cycles, preserving life and knowledge until the next dawn. And now, humanity stood at the cusp of one such cycle, their rediscovery of the fleet perfectly timed to carry the legacy forward. The Endeavour crew felt a deep connection to the Guardians, not just as successors, but as partners in a grand cosmic journey. The awakening was no accident. It was a call to step into a role larger than themselves. Captain Malik addressed his team, voice steady and filled with quiet determination. "We are the new Guardians now. It's our turn to protect and nurture the future." The ancient warships, once silent relics, had become living beacons of hope, and humanity was ready to listen. After days of careful exploration, the Endeavour's crew approached the largest vessel in the ancient cluster, a ship so immense it dwarfed the others. They named it the Celestial Archive. Unlike the others, which were grand but worn, this ship radiated a quiet energy, as if it had been waiting patiently for millennia to be found. Inside the Celestial Archive, the atmosphere was different. The corridors hummed with a gentle vibrancy, and the air shimmered with soft golden light that seemed to pulse in time with the crew's own heartbeats. As the explorers moved deeper, walls opened to reveal vast chambers filled with endless rows of crystalline data repositories, immense libraries of knowledge from a civilization that transcended time. Dr. Lena Ortega was the first to step into the Grand Archive Hall, her breath caught in awe. This is a treasury of the universe itself," she whispered, running her fingers along a translucent data crystal. "It holds the stories of stars, of civilizations, of lives that stretched across the cosmos." A holographic displays flickered to life, presenting vivid records of countless worlds, their landscapes, cultures, art, and science, all preserved with loving care. One chamber even showed ecosystems restored after catastrophic events, as if the Celestial Archive had been a guardian not just of knowledge, but of life itself. Lieutenant Mira Chen accessed the ship's core systems and initiated a deep scan. She uncovered something remarkable. The Celestial Archive was linked to every other ancient vessel like a living network, a vast cosmic web of knowledge and life support. The warships were less weapons and more caretakers, connected through a neural network older than time itself. Captain Arjun Malik stood before a massive projection, a swirling spiral of stars and galaxies. "This is the heart of their mission," he said slowly. "To protect, to preserve, and to nurture. To carry the wisdom of the cosmos across the ages." As the crew delved into the archives, they found detailed records of the Guardians' philosophy, a belief in harmony, balance, and unity. Their technology was designed to heal, to create safe havens on fragile worlds, and to foster cooperation between species. In a private chamber, Dr. Ortega found an ancient star chart highlighting Earth, not just as a point on the map, but as a cherished nexus in the cosmic network. The annotation spoke of humanity's ancestors, pioneers who had ventured far beyond their solar system and contributed to this vast alliance of worlds. The discovery was breathtaking. Humanity was not an isolated anomaly, but a vital part of a grand ancient story. The warships were the legacy of those ancestors, sentinels holding the torch for future generations. Suddenly, the Celestial Archive pulsed with renewed energy. The neural network was awakening, and with it, a vast reservoir of wisdom flowed into the Endeavour. The crew felt an almost spiritual connection, a bridge spanning billions of years, linking past to present. Captain Malik's voice was steady, filled with reverence. "We have been given a gift beyond measure. Now, it is our duty to understand it, and to honor the legacy we've inherited." The Endeavour's crew knew their journey was only beginning. The heart of the fleet had awakened, and with it, the promise of a new chapter for humanity and the cosmos. Back aboard the Endeavour, the atmosphere buzzed with quiet excitement. The activation of the Celestial Archive had set off a chain reaction through the ancient fleet, and a low hum now vibrated through the hulls of every ship nearby. But this hum was more than a mechanical pulse. It was a wave of energy that stretched far beyond the ships themselves, reaching out into the cosmos. Lieutenant Mira Chen was the first to notice an unexpected phenomenon. The waves seemed to resonate with something deep within the human crew. "Captain," she said, her eyes wide as she studied the readings, "this energy isn't just external. It's interacting with us, our biology, our neural patterns." The crew experienced a gentle warmth that spread through their minds, heightening their senses and awakening long-dormant feelings of intuition, empathy, and creativity. It was as if the ancient ships were singing a cosmic melody only humanity could hear, a song woven into their very DNA. Dr. Lena Ortega observed the crew's reactions with awe. "This is unprecedented. The Guardians didn't just build vessels. They encoded their essence into the fabric of life itself. They must have anticipated a future where their legacy would awaken through those they protected." The ancient warships, far from being cold relics, were living vessels, repositories of knowledge and energy designed to connect with their heirs in profound ways. The resonance was awakening human potential on a level that transcended technology, encouraging collaboration, understanding, and innovation. Captain Arjun Malik stood on the bridge, watching the stars glitter outside. "This changes how we see ourselves," he said softly. "We're not just explorers or inheritors. We're part of something larger, linked across time and space by this resonance." Across the fleet, scientists began to notice subtle changes. Their thoughts flowed more freely. Solutions to complex problems appeared effortlessly, and bonds of trust and camaraderie deepened among the crew. The Endeavour became a beacon of harmony and inspiration. The resonance also triggered the awakening of dormant technologies within the ships. Interfaces responded intuitively to human touch, and control systems adapted to new commands based on thought and emotion. It was as if the ships and their crews were learning to work as one. In quiet moments, the crew would gather to share experiences, visions sparked by the resonance that revealed glimpses of the Guardians' lives, moments of wonder beneath alien skies, peaceful councils among diverse species, and joyous celebrations of cosmic unity. One evening, under the dim glow of the Archives chamber, Dr. Ortega whispered, "We've been given a gift beyond measure. The resonance is not just a connection. It's an invitation to continue the Guardian's mission, one of stewardship, creativity, and peace." Captain Malik nodded, a calm resolve shining in his eyes. "Our ancestors entrusted us with this legacy. It's up to us to nurture it, to grow it, and to share it with the galaxy." As the ancient fleet hummed in harmony with its human crew, a new chapter began, a chapter defined not by conflict, but by the boundless potential of unity and hope. The resonance of time had awakened humanity's hidden power, and the stars awaited their next step. The ancient fleet, once silent and enigmatic, now thrummed with renewed purpose. With the resonance still awakening new potentials in the crew, the Endeavour and its sister vessels began to reveal technologies that went far beyond anything humanity had dreamed possible. These were not weapons, but tools of protection, healing, and restoration, crafted to guard life itself. As the crews explored further, they discovered energy fields capable of enveloping entire planets, shielding ecosystems from natural disasters and cosmic hazards. These fields shimmered softly, like translucent bubbles of light, creating sanctuaries where life could flourish undisturbed. Dr. Lena Ortega examined the schematics of a terraforming device that could rejuvenate barren worlds in months, encouraging the growth of forests, rivers, and oceans with delicate precision. "The Guardians understood the fragility of life," she said reverently. "Their warships were sentinels of balance, not destruction." Lieutenant Mira Chen piloted a small probe through the outer reaches of a devastated moon, once scared by a meteor strike. Activating the terraforming module, she watched as the barren rock began to bloom with mosses and lichens, the first signs of life returning after millennia of silence. Captain Arjun Malik convened a council with his officers aboard the Endeavour. "We are more than explorers now," he said with steady conviction. "We have become guardians of this legacy, a responsibility to nurture life, to preserve knowledge, and to foster peace across the stars." The crew embraced this new mission with enthusiasm. They began repairing and activating more systems aboard the ancient ships, ecosystem monitors, climate regulators, and biodome creators. Each discovery deepened their understanding of the Guardians' philosophy, a universal harmony sustained through care, knowledge, and respect for all forms of life. On board the Celestial Archive, Dr. Ortega uncovered a vast database detailing alliances formed by the Guardians with countless species, exchanges of culture, technology, and ideas that had blossomed into a vibrant cosmic community. The archives spoke of festivals celebrated under alien skies, of art and music that transcended species, and of peaceful dialogues that lasted centuries. Inspired, the crew began envisioning a future where humanity could reconnect with other civilizations, sharing their own stories and learning from others. The ancient ships were not just relics. They were bridges to a galaxy waiting to be reunited through cooperation and understanding. Late one evening, Captain Malik stood on the observation deck, gazing at a distant nebula glowing softly against the blackness of space. The weight of responsibility settled on him, but it was tempered by hope. "We were given this legacy for a reason," he murmured. "To protect, to heal, and to guide. The Guardians passed the torch to us. Now it's our turn." As the ancient fleet bathed in starlight, its human crew stood ready to embrace their role, not as conquerors, but as true guardians of the universe's hidden beauty and wisdom. With the ancient fleet fully awakened and the resonance still flowing through them, the crew of the Endeavor felt a profound shift. Their mission had grown beyond preservation to active engagement. Humanity was ready to reach out and reconnect the scattered threads of the cosmic tapestry woven by the first Guardians. Captain Arjun Malik stood in the ship's command center, gazing at the newly decrypted communications hub. The technology, alive with shimmering glyphs and radiant pathways, pulsed softly as it scanned for signals from other civilizations, many long silent or hidden in the vast darkness. Lieutenant Mira Chen coordinated efforts to reestablish contact, carefully aligning frequencies with distant worlds. "Captain, we're picking up faint responses," she reported, excitement rising in her voice. "It seems others are still listening, waiting, perhaps for a sign of reunion." Dr. Lena Ortega studied the messages streaming in, fragments of languages, symbols of peace, and calls for cooperation. "The Guardians built more than ships," she said thoughtfully. "They built networks of hope, systems to bridge vast distances, and hearts open to understanding." The Endeavor sent out messages encoded with the ancient language of the Guardians, combining human warmth and curiosity with the timeless wisdom they'd inherited. The response was gradual but unmistakable. Signals of friendship, invitations to share knowledge, and stories from civilizations eager to join the reborn cosmic fellowship. As the crew worked together, the ship's neural network, now intertwined with their minds, amplified their ability to communicate and empathize. Barriers of language, culture, and species began to dissolve, replaced by a shared sense of purpose. In one vivid exchange, the Endeavor received a holographic greeting from the Elisari, a peaceful species renowned for their art of symbiotic living with their homeworld's forests. Their message told of a world healed through cooperation with the Guardians, a place of harmony and beauty. Captain Malik smiled, feeling the weight of generations on his shoulders, but also the exhilaration of new beginnings. "We're no longer alone," he said quietly. "We are part of something far greater, a community spanning stars, united by respect and care." The crew began planning missions beyond the ancient fleet's resting place, to visit worlds touched by the Guardians' influence, and to offer assistance in restoring balance and knowledge. They envisioned ambassadors of peace, carriers of wisdom, and creators of new alliances. Dr. Ortega reflected on the journey that had brought them here, from curious explorers to the inheritors of a cosmic legacy. "Our future is woven with the threads of those who came before us and those we will meet," she said. "Together, we will build a galaxy where life thrives, where knowledge flows freely, and where every star shines with hope." The stars outside glittered brighter than ever, as if responding to this renewed harmony. Humanity, awakened by ancient memories and a timeless resonance, was ready to bridge the cosmos. carrying forward the legacy of the first Guardians, not with weapons or war, but with light, wisdom, and unity. The Endeavor and the ancient fleet now shone like a constellation of hope against the backdrop of the infinite cosmos. The awakening of the first Guardian's legacy had transformed humanity from solitary explorers into true stewards of the stars. The once forgotten warships were no longer silent relics. They had become living monuments to unity, knowledge, and peace. Captain Arjun Malik stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the nebulae and star clusters that stretched beyond the limits of human charts. Beside him, Dr. Lena Ortega and Lieutenant Mira Chen shared a quiet moment of reflection. The bond they had forged, among themselves and with the ancient fleet, felt like a new dawn for all humankind. "We've come so far," Dr. Ortega said softly. "From searching for answers to becoming part of something far greater than ourselves." Mira nodded, eyes shining with hope. "It's not just about survival anymore. It's about thriving, together with other civilizations, other species, and the very universe itself." The Endeavor's communication systems hummed as new messages arrived. Greetings from distant worlds, invitations to join councils of knowledge, and proposals for collaborative efforts in healing and exploration. The ancient network the Guardians had built was awakening across the galaxy, a web of connection that promised endless possibilities. The crew's understanding of the Guardians' philosophy had deepened. Stewardship over domination, nurturing over destruction, and unity over isolation. It was a legacy not of power, but of responsibility, and humanity was ready to carry it forward. Plans were already underway to send emissaries aboard the fleet's other vessels to planets in need, to share the ancient technologies of restoration, to help rebirth dying ecosystems, and to inspire cooperation among diverse peoples. The Endeavor would be the flagship of this new era, a beacon guiding humanity toward its brightest future. Captain Malik turned to his crew. "This is our moment, the moment we choose who we will be in the grand story of the universe." As the stars twinkled with ancient light, the Endeavor lifted its sensors skyward, reaching out with an open hand across the vastness of space. The legacy of the first Guardians was now humanity's to uphold, a sacred trust passed through time and carried into the future. In that moment, the cosmos felt alive, an endless symphony of life, knowledge, and hope. The ancient warships, older than the stars themselves, were no longer forgotten. They had awakened alongside humanity, together stepping into a dawn of new possibilities. And so, the story continued, not with conflict or conquest, but with harmony, discovery, and the unbreakable bond between past and future. Humanity had found its true power, the ability to unite, protect, and inspire. The stars awaited the next chapter,